Hi, and welcome to this video where we'll talk about how you can migrate from Neo to Integration Suite, or for Cloud Foundry to Integration Suite with Cloud, with the Figaf tool. So yeah, you can do this the simple way. So why do you want to use the Figaf? Migration of something like this is just a lot of moving of components, checking up that they work, everything like that. And obviously there is a lot more to it than just moving objects technical. We do have some part of this, but not obviously the full scope and everything in that process. But the reason why you want to use the Figaf tool is we have our virtual tenant that allow you to have proper governance processes no matter how you're dealing with this type of integration. You get an overview of the process of the migration, you can rename object across the landscape, and we'll see that in action, and you can simplify the configuration. But yeah, there's a lot more outside of just what we can support in the tooling. So, before we get started with this, you obviously need to understand the Figaf landscape concept. So I recommend that you check that video out first, where we will go through some of the different steps in setting up landscape approvals, these kind of things. And then we need to create two landscape, one from Neo to Integration Suite, and then we have the future landscape running on the Integration Suite systems. And then you can validate all the you can have the validations when you're setting up this to who should approve these different kind of objects. Then what you get is this progress overview where you can see what is going on with the migrations. And you can also rename objects, and I think this is a huge part of this because you have been using Integration Suite or CPI for a number of years. There's a lot of things in, you should probably have considered renaming, etc. And migration is a good place to start over, rename all the objects so they match your new naming conventions, change URLs, these kind of things. With the tooling, you can do that as a part of the transport process. So let me show you what this all looks like in action. So we have our landscape here, we have it set up, and if we go into our landscape, we can see we have a composite landscape on our CI, and then Neo. We will use that for our productive landscapes. We will not move it into Neo. Maybe we'll do. Let's see. And then we will do a Neo to Integration Suite. Neo Integration Suite. Yes. And then we can have whatever we need here. Do we need to do deployment? Do we need to do naming validation? And then we can have global renames of the different attributes in here, and obviously also host names, etc. So that's all cool. We will just leave it at standard. Okay. So now we have the basis set up. So we can go into this Integration Suite here. We would select the Neo to Integration Suite, and then from here you can then select what are the new landscape that we want to use for this, and we'll select the CI and Neo for production. We can see that there is some iFlows that has been this is all the things that has been synchronized on this platform from the old time, and now we can see as a part of our trial videos we talked about this specific one, moving this. Okay, let's take this package and move it the other direction. So we could also have a script collection, etc. into this setup. We can go in and do a custom mapping. We can name the different artifacts. We can see all the iFlows that we have here. So let's just put in here so the technical name, Neo I node 01, and then the display name will be I01. Here we'll have I02 underscore and I02 up here in the naming, and the same down here in the technical name, and And we can also put in this host names, etc. in here. One, just to mention. I don't know if that makes sense to have it there, but and we can also do it interface. So one in our technical naming. We press save. So now we have saved this setup, and now we can select the same iflows again. For what we want to do, we can then select the custom mappings here. That's what we did. We will then create the ticket for migration. This will then create a ticket that transported between these two systems. We can add the DIRA number, so you need to know the transport process, how it works. We need the DevOps ticket to be licensed. Just a sec. So now we have the correct licenses for it. And we have created a new ticket that allows us to transport it. We can see the object here, and we select Start to Transport. So now we have our transport. And here we can, the thing we need to do is we need to check the parameter report. In this, we can then see what are the different artifacts we have. Are there any of these host names we need to replace, make sure that they are here, and any security credential. So there's an EAP user we probably need to make sure is here. We have this DLP test. We could, in a new landscape, also set this up so it will transport this in a simple way without we having to add these data. But for now, let's just keep this. And here you will then have the option, obviously, to override these. So we'll just override here, override. New file name, save. Good. I will validate the transport, check everything is correct, and then I'll just say import. And this will then import it into the target system, apply configuration, apply, do we want to deploy, etc. All of this happens behind the scene. We can see here that they've been renamed, and I think we could also actually see that in the report here. We can see that all the objects are being renamed behind the scenes without we having to go into dealing with these ones. We can roll back if we wanted to, but for this it does not matter. So now it is into the productive system. We can go back and we can set this to, or it is in the dev system of our new. So now I will then create a new ticket with these objects, and now I can transport it into the QA. We need a license because it's a new landscape. If you run in problem, ping me. Or ping us, and we can help you with some more licenses for these things. We'll start the transport. So it's just the same process as you're doing normal development, but the idea is that once you do this transport, everything will work smoothly. So now we can see it is coming from this landscape, and if we check what are the diff into HTML, we will then be able to see what they will be called in the QA system. So it will be called QA train 03, etc. So it is easy to send it. We'll send it to approval, approve it. Let's see if this one is still logged on. We are waiting for approval here. So here we can see we still have the approval of this landscape that we need to go through. And thereby we have access to see what is actually going on in our migration scenarios. So if we go back to our ticket here, we can now see that these are in QA. We could move them further down the road here and reuse this setup here. We can easily navigate to the object here by clicking here, and then we can go to the object in the QA system. So there's all these navigation points that are really easy to go through. You can say here if we have runtime data, we can get them here and see if did we actually run some tests, and then we can see the results in the process up here. And then we can export all of this as a CSV file that we can use when we are managing the setup, test cases, near to my boundary. So this is the version number that we have here from that is used in the CPI, because yeah, version number looks a little strange. That's why we see it here in the CSV like this. But on that, it is really easy to understand what's going on here. We have the test results, test counts, how many messages did we have. So if you're you are running this, it is really easy to see your progress on the migration landscape, see everything that's going on, and see how easy it is to manage these things. If you have parameters that is missing in the transport, you will also see a validation error that misses this custom property. We do not support custom prop or all these artifacts you have under the security artifacts, key stores, variables, data store, number ranges, and yeah, that's the ones you wanna set up and you want to transport. There is ways or scripts that allow you to extract security material and key stores, put them into a file, and then you can upload them into separate ones. But it is one of the things you need to be a little cautious about, not giving too much access to these things. But to fetch these things, you need to have to deploy a specific iFlow on the tenants to fit these data and be able to match it. And then obviously you need to match it to the security material in the Figaf tool when you're applying the configurations. So I hope this helped you. Now you have a good idea about how you can use the tool to manage your Neo to integration suite migrations. It obviously reduces the overhead on the migration effort and just makes it easy for you to go with this a lot faster. So thanks for watching. I really look forward to the next video or some of the other videos. Be sure to check out also the video about the landscape setup, because use that before you start using this Neo to integration suite migration, because you need to understand how do we run this in the best way. So thanks for watching.